Ladies and gentlemen, absolute turmoil at Chelsea Football Club. I've had to change my camera angle around because of the turmoil. There's a lot of glare coming from the sunshine in the background. There is no sunshine in Chelsea Football Club at the moment. I've had to split the news into two parts. We'll take care of the second part tomorrow in the live stream because there's a whole heap of mixed information that's coming up. Whether Potter's going to get 2 games or is he going to just remain for the remainder of the season and get next season. There's a lot that's going on. Let's get on with it. All right. Here we go. Back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just jump straight into it. This is the first news that's buzzing at the moment. The next 2 games are make or break for Graham Potter. Telegraph Sports understands more than one player was shocked to find out he wouldn't even be on the subs bench against Spurs. Now, who are the players that weren't in the subs bench? Let's work things out. First of all, Cucurella. There was Chukwuemeka as well. Kovacic apparently was ill, so we can't really include him in that. Lewis Hall would have been in part of that. I think there were other names that was dropped over here. Let me just have a quick look at this. There were a few other names. There you go. David Datra Fofana, Chukwuemeka, Cucurella, Chalobah. Chalobah is a huge one. Look, what do we even say about this? I think what we need to probably assess in regards to this particular news is that Graham Potter has to, in my opinion, he needs to probably have the balls to let go of players that he doesn't feel like they are part of the future. Now, it may very well be that he probably thinks Chalobah is not part of the future. Cucurella maybe is not part of the future. It's strange to think that because he was part of Brighton last season with him. So very, very strange to see that he might think that Cucurella is not part of it. Chukwuemeka, definitely, I have to say from here on in, he probably isn't. There were times previously, now probably not enough space remaining for Chukwuemeka to get an opportunity. I still think he probably should see the bench as opposed to Conor Gallagher and even as opposed to Mason Mount, if I'm being absolutely honest about the situation. But Chukwuemeka is probably one of them. As I said previously, there were times where he could have been used, but he was not even used from the bench and sometimes not even in the squad, and now definitely not in the squad. Cucurella could be one of those players. Chalobah 100% is not fancied, it seems like, with all the other CBs. Koulibaly seems to be ahead of Chalobah. And now that Wesley Fofana is back as well, he's ahead of Chalobah. And maybe that's the stance. But if that is the stance, I feel like, Graham Potter, you're making a mistake. But by having players like Ruben Loftus-Cheek starting, by having players like Conor Gallagher in the bench, it's ridiculous. I'd even go as far as having someone like Mason Mount at the moment is probably ridiculous because, one, he's not signed a contract extension, so we don't know what his future is. By all means, he could leave. And 2, he's not been good for a long time. Let's give those positions. At the moment, I think Mason Mount can still lock in a bench position, but definitely Conor Gallagher and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, you can potentially have someone like Chukwuemeka or Chalobah in the team for sure. Yeah, Chukwuemeka, for me, he was deployed as a central midfielder at Aston Villa. So I'm not sure why all of a sudden we're using him as a winger, whenever he's got the opportunity at Chelsea Football Club, the limited amount of time that he got the opportunity. But and he's done well up front. But I feel like central midfield, why not give him a chance? Let's see how he plays in that pivot. He's done that for Aston Villa, so it's mad. Look, the next 2 games are make or break. I feel like if the next 2 games are make or break, the other factor here is if we get eliminated by Dortmund, what's the point? You might as well just keep Graham Potter after that because there's going to be nothing to play for. It doesn't make sense. You get rid of him right now. In fact, you should have got rid of him yesterday. In fact, he shouldn't have even seen a day after Southampton. That was it. But right now is the time. Sack him immediately now. Give another manager an opportunity to rectify the situation because we are absolutely going down the drain. So giving two more games and seeing what happens in the next two games. If we end up losing, what's the point? No other manager would even bother coming to Chelsea Football Club after that. Senior players are concerned over whether Graham Potter can turn the situation around. New signings are shocked by the pressure they are already under, and there is anger amongst those left out of matchday squads. Look, this was bound to happen. This was bound to happen. And then I somewhat, once again, with the with the owners, I mean, all the players that we brought in, look, in one sense, it is great that we brought in all those players because, we took advantage of that loophole, long-term contract and amortizing it over that period of time, helping out in terms of financial fair play. But at the same time, we didn't get rid of enough players. Jorginho probably wasn't even the right player to get rid of at this moment. I would have been happy to see him go on a free later on. But look, nonetheless, we made 10, 12 million pounds, which is fine. But now he's helping out Arsenal to be champions over there. But we should have gotten rid of many more players, many more players. Conor Gallagher, 40 million from Everton. We should have convinced him. We should have got rid of him. That's exuberant amount of money for Conor Gallagher. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, send him on a loan. Find him a place. I find it mad that, there's no offers for these guys, so they just have to stay with Chelsea Football Club. That's mad. There will be offers. You just got to be open to it. Hakim Ziyech, what a mess that was. What an absolute mess that was. And so on and so forth. So now we're in a situation where senior players are concerned. I would be too. If I was a senior player at Chelsea Football Club right now, I'd be very concerned about Graham Potter and the outlook. Because I don't know if this manager can turn things around. 2 out of 16 at the moment. It's shambolic. It is disgusting. It's not on. This is not Chelsea culture. This is not Chelsea style. This is not what we've built our empire under Roman for the past 20 plus years. Everything is disintegrating. Everything that we've won is becoming a distant memory. Now we are a laughing stock. We're a banter club, not just from rivals' eye point. Within a fan base, it's becoming a normal thing now. Losing every week we've started to accept it. Of course, the senior players are going to look at this situation and think, I don't think this man has the capabilities to turn things around. I wonder when our owners are actually going to get serious about this, because right now it feels like a nonsense situation how they're just carrying on with Graham Potter. What more damage do you want, man? Do you want a loss against Leeds? Do you want it like as if it hasn't been confirmed? You want a negative result against Leeds, and you want a negative result against Dortmund to really put the nail on the coffin. Why? Bite the bullet. Take your ego aside, and let's move on from this. You made a mistake. That's fine. Everyone makes a mistake in life. It won't be the last one you make in terms of making a mistake. It won't be the last mistake that you make. But it's one thing about making a mistake, but it's another thing about rectifying the mistake, knowing that you made the mistake, admitting it, and actually rectifying it. So right now, I find it very, very strange. Potter claimed Kovacic had missed the game due to illness and said Chalobah, Chukwuemeka, Cucurella, and David Datra Fofana were unfortunate to miss out. There you go. I think, look, in terms of David Datra Fofana and Chukwuemeka, maybe they will, wait for their opportunity. But Chalobah and Cucurella, they must be thinking, what's going on? Chalobah signed a long-term contract. Cucurella as well, 62 million. He's probably thinking, what's going on? How come I'm not even in the squad? That's mad. Of course they'll question it. They've got every right to question it. But, this is somewhat, I suppose, the new owners influxing the team with all these new players without getting rid of other players as well that probably weren't, needed in our squad. Partly the owners have to take the blame. But look, I'm not going to sit here and, we all celebrated all the new players coming in. So I can't completely blame the new owners. But at the same time, Graham Potter, as I said, just picking the wrong players, in my opinion, in the squad. But, or maybe he is picking the right players. But then he's got to stick to that. He's got to be able to not just abolish Aubameyang, but he's got to be able to abolish many other players. The squad is too big. And right now, I feel like he's trying to keep everyone happy. 1 week you're playing, next week you're playing, the week after you're playing. It doesn't work that way. You're going to have to make someone unhappy. Unfortunately, this is how real life situation works. Chelsea have tried to liken their backing for Potter to the backing of Arteta. This I am so disgusted about. Every time our owners are back, we're backing Potter just the way we want to back Arsenal with Arteta. Arteta did not have the same squad, man. Arteta did not have the pleasure of spending 600 million within the first couple of windows. Arteta's squad when he first took over was not the same as Graham Potter first taking up the squad. Arteta's squad was not good enough. Our one was still decent enough to manage some victories, not be 2 out of 16. And now we've got even new players, and even the new players are starting to feel the pressure. And they're surprised. They're under so much pressure. It's mad. It's true, though. Why should the new players, they come in and now everyone is, already some parts of the fan base is blaming, keep the same energy with João Felix. It's mad. They just walked in. Keep the same energy with João Felix like the way we do with Mason Mount. How is that even comparable? People going at Mudryk after 4 or 5 games for Chelsea Football Club. People having a go at Noni Madueke. People having a go at Enzo Fernandez already as well, because he didn't have a fine match against Spurs. It's all down to our downfall. That we're bringing them down to our levels. Arteta, at least he won the FA Cup to get some credit in the bank. And we also have to understand, Arsenal were in the mud for like 20 plus years. They had to make something, drastic. They had to stay patient with Arteta. We don't need to do that. We were successful. Last season, we won trophies. We were in the finals twice in domestic cups. It wasn't that bad for us. And our squad definitely isn't as bad as what Arteta picked up. It's mad how we keep likening ourselves to Arteta. Why are we likening ourselves to David Moyes at Man United when he was there? Did that work out? Why are we comparing that? Why are we comparing Graham Potter with Eric Ten Hag and how Eric Ten Hag he's walked in and he's turned things around at Man United, or Eddie Howe? Why do we have to just compare Graham Potter to Klopp or Arteta and think that that's how it's going to work out? What if it doesn't work out that way? What if it just doesn't work out that way? It's quite silly. Doubts are surfacing over Graham Potter. This is from Sammy Mugwell. More pain against Leeds on Saturday. We may find out quite how tolerant the owners are. I can't believe we're actually going to go to Leeds with Graham Potter, which is very, very strange in my opinion, and also give him the opportunity to play against Dortmund so we can witness firsthand at Stamford Bridge how elimination feels and what the fans are going to do post that. Even against Leeds at Stamford Bridge, our record is pathetic. Our record all over, whether we are away, whether we are home, it's all pathetic. And Leeds, they're fighting in the relegation battle. It's not going to be an easy game against Leeds, 100%. This is what Matt Hughes is saying. Graham Potter fears his training sessions at Chelsea are being undermined by having too many players to work with. He has been forced to adapt training sessions to include everyone, but still some players are forced to wait until they are needed. I mean, yet more excuses. More excuses. Chelsea are being undermined by having too many players to work with. What is it? Do you want quality players to come in or not? Now you're complaining there's too many players. Before you complain, there was poor preseason, one of the worst preseason under Thomas Tuchel. Then injuries, new players gelling. Stop with the excuse. Stop. Let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. And if you can't do it, let's move on to the next manager. Fed up. Ladies and gentlemen, look, let me know how you feel about everything that we've spoken about. There are other news that's surfacing. Obviously, this is Matt Law and a few other journalists saying that, look, Graham Potter under pressure. But recently, in the last probably couple of hours, we had Jacob Steinberg, Ben Jacobs saying that, no, the owners are going to stick with Graham Potter till the end. And in fact, we'll even give him next season, Graham Potter wasn't brought in, and then don't forget, apparently Nkunku and all of those guys, Malo Gusto, they're still to come next season. Graham Potter didn't come in just for this season. He's coming for those players as well to see next season and the preseason as well, which is mad. So we'll touch on that news tomorrow in the live stream. And there's just mixed reports everywhere now. It's mad. It's mad. It's a bit of a warfare with all the journalists. Christopher Vivell apparently has a different outlook as well. He's not convinced with Graham Potter, which was quite evident last week with the emergency meeting apparently Christopher Vivell had. And there's been some names that's been thrown around. Thomas Frank of Brentford. Look, I don't want these secondary managers. They do well at those levels like Brentford and Brighton and all of that. We need an elite manager. We need an elite level manager. None of these Thomas Frank, this, that, the other. These managers are probably good at that level. When you give them top budget to work with, I don't think they warrant or they have that experience to guide a team through that. Do you know what I mean? These big players, they don't seem to respect these sort of managers who don't have any silverware to show for in their CV. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you felt about everything we talked about. As I said, second part of this will carry on in live stream tomorrow. Do make sure you're there. Smash up the like button. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe and hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. A special little news. I had my baby daughter, my wife, gave birth to our second child yesterday. The timing works out because by the time I come home late in the evening after, being in the hospital, works out that I can still be here with you guys for half an hour or so. But hopefully, my wife and my baby daughter will be here soon, within the next couple of days. And it's happy moments, man. It's happy moments. Chelsea are the only thing that's letting me down, but at least the arrival of the newest member of my family is fantastic, and it's great feelings. With the entirety of my family at the moment, everyone is buzzing, and you'll see all the posts on my socials. If you're following me on Instagram, you'll see it there. So Instagram, the link is in the description. Do follow me there. But until next time, everyone, take care and see ya. And thank you to everyone that's wished best wishes all throughout this time. Take care. Bye.